Good morning, Ultimate Coach Facebook family. Coming at you from beautiful Park City, Utah. It's Friday. Yeah, been a big week. Hope wherever you are in the world, your week is wrapping up nicely. July is almost behind us. We are most definitely in the back half of the year. And what a year it's been. We're making a racket over there, but that's okay. The last couple months have been really interesting for me, and they have pushed me to a new level. Hey Joe, good morning. I don't say pushed me, have presented me with the opportunity to reach for a new level of seeing and acknowledging where I am creating life or where I'm reporting life. Now, this is a distinction I got from Steve, this created life, reported life, creating life, reporting life. And the idea that in any moment we can be reporting life, kind of taking it as it is, and in another moment we could be creating it, not taking it as it is, working with what's there to create. Yes, it is a great morning. It's a really fun idea. So Steve challenged me a while back, and I do this often, challenged me to look at all the places where I'm reporting life. Well, that's just how it is. You know, it's not up to me. I'm not creating that. That just is sort of fixed. And see if it's possible to create there. This could be a controversial idea, right? Because the way I see it, there's a continuum where on one end, and we probably know people like this, nothing is up to them. You know, nothing is in their control, nothing is their choice, even their very emotions, right? People are always pissing them off or frustrating them or, you know, taking away their power. That's on one end. And on the other end of the spectrum, I would call that God or consciousness or the universe or whatever you want to put there, right? Everything is consciousness. Everything is God. Everything is the universe, right? Right? The universe doesn't go, ooh, how'd that get there? Right? God doesn't say, if he or she or them or they ask such questions, wow, how did that show up? Who put that there? So I don't see it like I'm trying to be God or anybody's trying to be God of the universe, and certainly not over here. So it really just is about where in this continuum do you find yourself? Where do you move through life, and can you notice the places where, yep, that's me, I control it, it's in my power, I'm creating that, blah, blah. And then, well, wait a minute, that's not me. That's something else. That's external. That's, those are conditions that I must deal with. So you just kind of look and notice, and when I find something there, I look again, right? When I find something I'm convinced it's got nothing to do with me. Hey, good morning, Melanie. When I'm convinced, well, who put that there? I look again. I question that. Well, what if I did? 2 weeks ago, I met with my small group coaching experience of about 5 guys that get together. I coach them every 2 weeks. We're on a full year journey. And one of the really powerful creators in that group shared something that really pinged for me and helped me see an area that I was reporting, not creating. And if going into the call you had said, so how's it going, you know, with outreach and potential clients and, you know, this thing you do related to coaching, I would have said, man, it's awful. It's been a rough couple months. Everybody I'm talking to, it just seems all these people that end up on my doorstep, well, they're not ready for this, they're not ready to get committed, they don't have any money, they can't create any money, their life is not working, but they're gonna stick with it. Right? That was my speaking. That would have been my speaking of it, and it certainly was my thinking of it. That's just who's showing up. It's not got nothing to do with me. Not like I control who shows up, right? That's reporting. Well, he was sharing how they had been going through a similar sort of funk or lull in their business, and they're a service provider of essentially outsourced appointment setting, cold calling, things like that. And he said, yeah, we saw that we were creating clients and prospects coming to us that weren't ready, weren't really motivated. So we stopped doing that. We stopped creating that, and we started creating, they're coming to us ready, willing, able, motivated, excited. And he literally sat the whole team down and said, well, we're going to create this differently. We're going to stop talking about like we're complaining, and we're going to create what's going to happen. And I was like, duh, that's what I'm doing. And right then and there, I crafted a new statement that has become part of my declaration related to client creation. And what it says is, those that seek me out are ready for transformation. Good morning, Rebecca. Ready to do the work and ready to get committed. Very simple. And hardly any surprise at all. Following week, guess what showed up? People that were ready for transformation, people ready to get committed. Hey, Stuart, good morning. Ready to get committed. They started showing up. Reading that. Not God over here creating everything, but I'm going to look at everything in my life that's showing up and ask, am I reporting on it or am I creating it? Now, why would I do that? Right? I'm not doing it to blame myself, like, oh God, why was I doing it wrong over here? I'm making that choice because for me, it's a more powerful place to come from in life. Right? If something shows up in my life and I say, I didn't put that there, that's got nothing to do with me. How did that get there? There's no way I asked for that. Well, if that's my perspective, well, when something's there in my life that isn't working for me, well, I got nothing to do about it. I'm helpless. I just have to sort of deal with it and wait until something better comes along. If, however, I make the choice, no, if it's there, I put it there. I must have asked for that. I must have called it. Good morning, Daniel. I must have called it to me. If I make that choice, if I choose to see creation that way, well, then I have something I can go do. I can start creating differently. That's a powerful place to come from. And it's not a goal, like let me get the right people here because I got the wrong people. And it's not a tool or a paradigm to judge myself. Right? It's not something I'm going to do to punish myself. It's a way of being. It's choosing a conscious way of being that says, I am the conscious creator of everything that occurs in my life. About 20 years ago, a lot of truck noise this morning. Oh well. Hey, good morning, Dennis. About 20 years ago, maybe a little more, a book came out called The Art of Possibility. Benjamin Zander and Rosamund Stone Zander, they actually were old EST trainers back in the day. The Art of Possibility. I love this book. I gave hundreds of copies of this book away. I loved it so much. Highly recommend it. These little short chapters, really beautiful lessons. One of my favorite chapters is a chapter called Being the Board. And it uses the game of chess as a way of thinking about our lives. and I'm not going to get the quote exactly right, but essentially what the authors were saying was a lot of people will look at the game of chess as a metaphor for life. Thank you, Stuart. And they'll use that metaphor to identify with various pieces on the board. I'll be the powerful queen, or the mighty king, or the wily knight, or the pawn, helpless pawn, or whatever. And they said that's one way to go through life. Another way to go through life is to choose the idea that you are the board. You can choose, rather than to be any of the pieces on the board, you can choose to be the board. And when you choose the board as your role, rather than the individual piece, well, you get to ask a very different question when things occur in your life. Not, why did they do that to me, or how did that happen to them, but what have I done or created so that that has shown up on my board? How did I put that there? How did I ask for that? How did I call it into existence? Now, it's often in this part of the conversation that people either start thinking, or if I'm talking to them, saying, oh, so you're saying if somebody has abuse in their life, like they're being abused, then they chose that. Well, listen, I'm not going to sit across from anybody who's in pain or suffering or being abused and try and tell them, yeah, you put that there. Jeremy, good morning. By the way, for those of you who don't know, guess whose birthday it is? It's Jeremy's birthday. So maybe say happy birthday to him. I think it's his birthday. If I'm wrong, well, happy birthday anyway. So this is not about blaming people or victim shaming. It's simply creating a possibility that whoever, yes it is, I got it, whoever is experiencing, hey, Steve Hardison, don't forget to say happy birthday to Jeremy de la Garza today. It's simply about creating a possibility that whoever is experiencing what they're experiencing could begin consciously creating something else. Again, not to blame them, not to shame them, not to put them at fault. And it's not like somebody comes over after getting beat up and saying, well, you created that yourself. That wouldn't be kind or loving, right? But when there's no immediate danger or pain or problems or risk, a conversation could be had related to what would you like to create in your life differently? Because a lot of times what we try to create is not that. Right? Even somebody saying, well, I don't want that in my life. I don't want to be abused. I don't want to be victimized. I don't want to be ridiculed. Well, there's a problem with creating life. Hey, good morning, Dave Orton. There's a problem with creating life, or a challenge, I should say, with creating life as all the stuff you don't want. Whatever we don't want, we actually must create so we can get rid of it, so we can get it out of our life. I think Werner had a great quote on this that one of these days I'll look up. Right? Whatever it is we're trying to get rid of, we must create more of every day so we can do that. I always use the example of if you have this idea, I need to get the trash out of my house, well, there has to be trash in your house. You got to create more trash so you can take it out tomorrow. So even that perpetuates, possibly, creation of things we don't want. So, lots of places you can look at this. I don't recommend going all the way to the extremes of violence or pain or, the really horrible things and say, well, you're saying people create those. Don't worry about that. Look at the little things, right? If you find that people are generally being rude and impolite or just kind of brusque, that would be an area where you could ask the question, how could I create more politeness in my world? How could I create more people showing up that are nice and polite and happy? And some of that might be in how you create the world. Some of it might be just in how you bless people, right? Another tool in the tool bag, for lack of a better term, is this idea of blessing, right? Somebody shows up, I'm judging them as, well, that's creation. If I'm blessing them, well, that's also creation. If you haven't checked out or read The Gentle Art of Blessing. I strongly recommend it. A beautiful book, and it really talks about blessings as an antidote for judgment, both for ourselves and how we create, right? We've all had the experience, good morning, James, of somebody showing up in our life. Could be a customer service agent, could be, a teller at a bank, could be a neighbor whose energy was very confrontational, very stressed, what have you. And for lack of a better term, we've created with that. I'm sure we've also had the experience of somebody who comes to us in a similar state that somehow in that conversation energetically just shifts. They go from being in a pissed off mood to happy. Something we created with them, I would say, effected that shift. Right? That's one very simple example of that. So that's one way to play with this idea. Where am I creating life? Where am I reporting life? Oh, they're going to be in a bad mood. Well, that'd be reporting. Oh, let me see what I can create here with this person. I'm going to create, they're having the best day ever. I'm going to create, they got a beautiful life that they see. How could I do that? Well, I could bless them. I could create in my mind or with my word. I could speak nicely to them. Lots of possibilities. So, this idea of where are you reporting life and just dealing with it, or where are you creating it either in advance or in real time to create the kind of experience of life and even circumstances of life that you're looking for. So that's about all for Friday. I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are in the world. I hope you have a beautiful and creating weekend. That's all I got to say about that. Love to you all. Have a great day.